wild cards, the decks that you don't expect to actually do something, or they just take you by surprise and you're like, I can't believe I just got 2-0'd by that. Make sure you guys smash the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. We're going to be starting off here with Volcanics. Now, this checks all of my boxes to be a cool rogue deck. I love everything that Volcanics has to offer. New boss monster, the fact that you can play Volcanic Runic. Well, I don't highly recommend trying to play Volcanic Runic. Trust me, it might be a little bit too hot for you. But the whole Volcanic deck, also, this deck burns like it's nobody's business. Also, it's Volcanics. I mean, like, people are going to look at the Fire Duels pack and they're going to go, okay, yeah, Salaman great cards and things that make in for Noble Knight combo better. You're going to toss the Volcanic cards aside and go, no, we don't see any sort of viability for this. And that's where you're going to be surprised. All right, now once again, this is the wild cards video, which means that you play with fire, you're going to get burned. God, all these terrible puns today. I'm awful. But Current Eye, a trap card. This deck also has, I think it was, 2 cards, and you can fully burn your opponent out of the game without them actually getting the chance to play the game. Yeah, it's possible. It does require, like a 2-card combo, I think, in order to do it. But you can do it. All jokes aside, somebody's gonna be like, well, great, another burn deck, just what Yu-Gi-Oh needed, haha, like, this is awful. I agree. We have too many burn strategies, I feel like, at this point in time. Obviously, the more that we continue to add into the game's pool, the more that I feel like people are gonna be upset at the end of the day, but let's call it what it is at this stage. Take advantage of it while you can. If you're somebody that's like, I was kind of thinking about picking up Volcanics, have some fun with the deck. The deck seems like it's going to be a real fun chance to win the game. Next up is going to be Manconco. Yeah, this has been the wild card of wild cards for so long. Every time I watch a Kong's tournament come through, I always see the warrior version of this deck combo off, and then people are like, I can't believe this. I hate the warrior version, I understand that there are variants, and I understand that there are people that are very passionate about the variants to these decks. I get that. I'm no stranger to people having opinions on the internet. We reference this all the time, but the biggest thing out of all of this is Manconco is a deck that is just pure ignorance turbo. Its entire purpose is to not care about what the opponent does. It just wants to reflect battle phase damage. And that's what makes it a scary deck, is it's so ignorant that it hurts. People, I mean, I'm on file here, or on record, seeing, people being like, oh, I hate this deck. This is so ignorant. They're just cursing out their opponents. How many replays I've seen of poor Manconco players, battle phase reflecting damage, and then they're just getting called some sort of, obscenity. Like, it's really sad that Yu-Gi-Oh players do resort to that, but Manconco's really bringing out the worst in people out here. And I honestly think it's hilarious at the end of the day. That this is the toxic deck that I can't believe this is making people quit. I feel like we're making that topic every other week, but at the end of the day here, from what I'm seeing, Manconco is still a very, very strong strategy. Ignorance turbo, and once again, it checks all the marks for the wild card strategy, because your opponent's not going to see it coming. They're going to go first end on some board, and you start up like this whole board of making these battle phase reflector monsters, and your opponent's just staring at you going, is that lethal? Like, do I actually lose to this? Yeah, you probably do. And that's the greatest thing about it. Next up is Earthbox. What do you want me to say about this? What do you want me to say about Machina, .deck? Ruin Force, it's a good card. It's fantastic, actually. But my problem with everything that the deck can do is Dimension Shifter exists in the format. Now, that's not to say that, out of every other pile of cards in the entire format, doesn't mean that, things can't function. It just turns into an auto scoop for Earthbox. And I want to be a lot more optimistic here, because this is the wild card section, but you are going to be wildly scooping up your cards in a hurry if you see the shifter. Now, On the flip side of things, we get back to Ruin Force here. You have a huge, 46, 45, 69 attack point monster that pretty much stands at the apex of a majority of monsters in the current game right now. The thing is so incredibly big that your opponent's going to have a hard time outing it. You just have to be able to go through all the combo lines to be able to establish it and, actually have a good end board to actually make it matter at the end of the day. And those are the biggest things that you really might not get with the Earthbox experience. I'm not trying to talk down this deck or anything, but these are always the same red flags I see every time that I see the deck actually be played. It always runs into the same issues, and don't let that detour you. Try it out. You might be the one variant that does have a semi-decent run, because you will see it every blue moon, but it's just like, man, this deck has some very, very interesting combo lines, but it runs into some of the biggest issues in the format. But it is still a wild card because when it goes, it literally rolls over the competition. I'm done. I'm sorry. I had to. Next up is Flaunderies. Somebody's going to be like, Robbie, all of that hype, just put Flaunderies down here. It's one of the top rows. Yeah! What in the world do you want from me? All right, attributing your opponent's monsters with Advent, or not with Advent, but with the Unexper, the continuous book. You know which one I'm talking about. I'm just checking you to make sure you know your Flaunderies cards out here. You can attribute your opponent's monsters. End Pen is still one of the dumbest cards created in modern day Yu-Gi-Oh history, and watching your opponent not know how to play against an Apex Avian is hilarious. I watched his deck plow through like the finals of was it last month's Zodiac tournament, and people, you just look at things and you're like, wow, Apex even doing the opponent's turn, the Mega Ryza. If the deck goes first and it's uninterrupted, I mean, obviously, they can open up Advent, Rabina, and the Magnificent Map, and you're probably scooping it up. All right. Like, these decks have gone to triple Endpen now because they're so sick of the meta actually doing its thing, and also the deck plays around Shifter. Now, the biggest things with the deck is you need to get your tech choices correct. Those tech slots are the most important things that you can actually have with this deck. You need to get those tools correct in order to play the game. And if you misjudge any of those tools, then you are going to backfire and you are not going to have a good time. All right. The cost of inputting a tech card and drawing something that you didn't mean to have in the deck or something that didn't pan out for you that day will be the thing that usually cost these players the game. And it's very sad because I think that this deck has some very, very cool synergy going with it. But at this point in time, all jokes aside, Flaunderies is one of the best wild cards out there because you never know what tech choice is going to show up in that deck and just blow you out. And the last wild card deck I want to talk about here is the stall deck. You all saw out of the last Kong's Cards tournament. It was playing Fenrir Unicorns, the Swords of Concealing Trap, the fact that this deck was also main decking Sphere Modes, the Rainbow Karibos, all of these little toolbox packages that this deck brought together just kind of proved that you could play a wider range of tech choices this format and get away with it. The format has started to kind of head into a place right now where the oddest tech choice can win you or lose you the game. And the more that you can explore these options, the more advantage that you can actually get from these particular, skill trees, I think the better off you'll be. Now, once again, all things considered here for the future of the game, I think that people are going to be very excited. People are going to look at this deck and they're going to go, hey, I want to play that. I'm bored of Cashier. I don't like that. But if I could use, the splashable package and, troll my opponent and have a good time, well, that's what it's all about. And, I mean, let's be honest. If your opponent has no idea how to handle the outs that this deck is presenting itself with, or, things are just so wild your opponent doesn't know what you're playing, you've already won the game. All right, you are so far into the realm of crazy, you're like, yeah, I'm already on top of it. Mind games, very, very important in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Trust me. If your opponent's seeing Swords of Concealing, they're seeing, Kashtira monsters, there's a Sphere Mode, they're going to be like, what in the world is going on here? And, well, that's what it takes to win. So what do you guys think about the wild cards? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.